Welcome. My name is Danica Lani. I'm known as the King Coach, and you're listening to the Kings of Joy podcast. I am joined today with an incredible performer who I cannot wait to introduce you to, Casual Harry, all the way from Cape Town, South Africa. Welcome, Casual Harry.
Hi, thank you so much for having me on your podcast today. It's an absolute honor.
Oh, great. It's such a pleasure. I'm glad that you reached out. How do you like to introduce yourself? What do you want people to know about who you are?
So my name is Casual Harry, and I am a drag king and boylesque dancer. My training specifically is in boylesque, which is an offshoot of burlesque. Essentially burlesque being a hyper feminine expression and boylesque being the masculine expression of a similar dance form. So in South Africa, I'm known as primarily, the boy of burlesque. However, I've recently rebranded, renamed as I'm expanding my repertoire into drag as the drag daddy of South Africa, because I am essentially creating a platform and upskilling a number of basically creating a platform for masculine expression within performance in South Africa, which is something I've tried to do before, but it's now ready and people are really taking to it. So hence the sort of drag daddy, new approach, new rebranding.
Yes, I love it. And I love it because we're doing a similar thing here in Sydney. But tell me, I'm really curious about what's the climate like in South Africa in terms of drag or boylesque or leaning into the masculine at all and in the LGBTQIA community, but beyond that as well. What's it like there?
Yes. So South Africa is, we've got quite an interesting sort of political economic climate. We've got a culture that is incredibly diverse. Number one, in terms of we've got it, like, just to give an overview, we've got 11 official languages in our country. So we are called the Rainbow Nation because of that. And so we've got an enormous amount of different perspectives, different cultures, and also, unfortunately, or different education levels, which really splits our country. And I think what's been so beautiful and interesting about the drag side of things is it's one space where everything, all of the differences, all these big, essentially what in the past has sort of created quite a separation. Drag is bringing us together under one umbrella, which has been really profound. And I think within the drag king space, we're seeing that same theme or that same movement, and where it's not being defined by gender, class, education, or culture, but more it's being brought together in this expression and this need for this expression of the masculine performance. And I'm finding that is such an incredible space of healing in our country, where we're all coming together under this sort of equal footing, where it's new, it's marginalized, and we are all equal under this one need to express something that really doesn't exist yet in this country. And so as I have put the word out to, for this platform, which I call the King's Collab, every week I'm getting more people phoning me, messaging me, saying, I'm really wanting to do this. Can I get involved? And I'm saying, yes, absolutely. These are the various things I'm doing. Whatever feels resonant to you, come and get involved. And it's literally black, brown, white, and that's what we're also finding in terms of gender expressions. There's just the variety of gender expressions, and so on that topic as well, I've after shows, I've often gone, when you go out and to meet the audience at the after party, I'll get various different gender expressions coming to me going, I don't know, I would want to do drag, but I think, because of how I identify, I need to be a drag queen. And I'm like, no, absolutely not. Anyone can be a drag king. It is the calling for you an masculine expression, then drag kinging is for you, or boylesque is for you. And so I think we're still in that process. I'm not sure where you guys are, but we're still in that process of unpacking what a drag king actually is. It's, even to this day and age, which I'm seeing is quite a common theme globally, is you can even be sitting at a dinner party amongst queers and you say, well, I'm a drag king, and they've never heard of it before. So it's not even, it's something that we in our community are still learning about and still getting excited about.
What an exciting time. And this is not your first rodeo. How long have you been doing this kind of work for?
So I have been in drag and boylesque for over 11 years now. And people have often asked me, how did you get into it? And it's such a strange thing, because I started with burlesque, and I went in as obviously that hyper feminine expression, and there was no signs of the masculine performance in this country. There were whispers of it here and there, but not really anyone to learn from or go by. And it was just this character that came out of me. And it was quite provocative at the time, because even at that stage, there wasn't the sort of clear understanding of non-binary or different gender expressions. We were still in South Africa, at least, even the concept of genderqueer that word I hadn't even heard yet. So it was quite threatening even from a queer perspective, that I could come on as this sort of hyper feminine role, and then the next breath be coming on as a man. And that was, I remember, even at that point, even within the queer world, that wasn't something that people were feeling very comfortable with. And over time, it sort of caught, like, people became more comfortable with it, and then these sort of new expressions of gender came out. And I reached out at that stage, to try and create a platform, but still, really, we weren't ready for that in the country. And so I think just after lockdown, when we started, and I think it might have been similar in Sydney, where there was this sort of trend where we could start reaching through Zoom and like what we're doing, reaching into and out to other kings in other countries, and start getting, learning from each other. And that really has created more visibility and more willingness for individuals to start getting on stage for this sort of masculine expression.
Beautiful. And I have a confession, which is that I'd never heard of boylesque. I don't know if that's just me, but what is it that makes boylesque different than drag, or is there a crossover? Like, how would you distinguish that art form, and what do you love about it?
I think it's very exciting that that you say that, just in terms of that we are still in the brink and the fringe of this sort of new movement. And I love that in 2023 there's still so much to explore within this art form. So burlesque is the boylesque is the shoot off of burlesque, and so essentially it has an element of striptease in it. The striptease you must cover your nipples and you must wear underwear. So those are the three elements that define burlesque, and therefore boylesque. It is focused to the sensual or the sexual. So that's why the striptease comes in. Of course, we can, there are characters within burlesque or boylesque. So you could get what we would call cheesecake, which is more of the comedy and the parody of the form, whether it be masculine or feminine. Then you would get in, say, the feminine version, which would be the seductress. So you would, in the boylesque, get the lover boy or the player. But essentially, it is to do with seducing, seduction, the art of striptease, and there isn't lip syncing. So those are that would be, I would say, quite specific. In terms of drag kinging, it tends to be more over the top. If you think about, with boylesque, our counterparts are a feminine that is quite natural, even though it is hyper feminized, whereas with drag kinging, when we look at the drag queen, we want to stand up next to them. It's going to be a little more dramatized, more over the top, and also based in lip syncing. So you can strip, you can perform, you can dance, but the focus is around the lip syncing and the sort of over the top expression. Whereas in boylesque, a lot of the time we're wanting to pass as real men, whatever that might mean. And when I'm teaching boylesque, I often start with like, what is the sexy part of the what do you find sexy and masculine? What are you trying to express from a sexy point of view? So those two, I would say, is where it differs.
Amazing. And you are going to be gracing our shores very shortly, and leading a workshop on your secrets of choreography. Can you tell us a little bit about what we could expect from the workshop?
Absolutely. So I teach boylesque and drag in South Africa, in Cape Town. I've got a troupe that I have launched and started. It's called the Rebel Sons, and I have a production company called the King's Collab. And so because of this, I have defined down almost exactly what I would say a toolkit, a dance form that we can start calling boylesque and drag, because I've found, in my process, one of the hardest parts, and even in my workshops when I speak to seasoned drag kings from abroad, is people struggle with choreo. And it's something that has broken me down over the years, where I just wished I could go to a boylesque class and someone could just give me a base to work from, so that from there I could expand. And had I had that 7 years ago, I think I would be much further than I am now, and so I want to give that to people. I want to, I've spent so many years crafting this toolkit together so that there's this base to work from as a community. And it's something I feel quite strongly to just sort of to get it out there, to give it to other performers so that they've got a base that they can start from, and they might hate or love some movements, but at least there they can start building on it. And in that way, also just to uplift the community and to take it to the next level. I really believe that drag kings need to start, or the ability for us to start cross-pollinating information and knowledge is going to take our art form to a whole new level. And so that really is what I'm trying to bring across. I know I'm going to be learning so much from Sydney scene and the drag kings there, and I cannot wait to learn and bring these new gifts back to South Africa. But I also feel that I want to bring something to you guys and leave something there, so that that we're sharing and we're bringing sharing knowledge.
Yes, so important. And it makes our world a whole lot rounder to be global together. So that's really exciting.
Definitely.
So the workshop is happening on Saturday, the 23rd of September, from 2 p.m. 2 till 5 p.m. at the Working Kind Collective. So you can click on the link below to get your tickets to attend the workshop. I'll be there. I cannot wait to be learning from you. And yeah, really, really happy that you're coming over and that we can share this. One last question. What is your vision for the future globally for drag kings around the world?
So when I really believe that, we need strong, in a sense, leadership and people doing things. We have to step into our own power. I believe that this art form is so much, the essence of this art form is stepping into one's power. It helps to access authenticity. And so there is so much that is happening around the world. There are boylesque competitions, for example, in Berlin. There's the big boylesque festival. And so wouldn't that be fabulous if we can, go there? And we are living in a global world now. So isn't it great that we can start to actually go into performing abroad? And so, in South Africa at the moment, I am, establishing sponsorship. We want to bring over people international performers to South Africa, so that annually. So I run my shows 3 times a year. So that like last of the shows, we aim to bring international performers over, but also that I want to start taking South African performers abroad, because there is so much opportunity, especially, we come from a third world country. There is very little support, financial support, or any really real support in the arts. And so it's quite, it creates a deep sense of value being in a country that is prepared to pay its drag artists in the way that, say, Sydney is paying their artists. We don't have that sort of intrinsic value here or ability here. So I feel that the more that we actually expose each other to different countries, we'll start to understand what kind of value this art form actually really has.
Yes, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Thank you so much, Casual Harry. It's so great to see you online, and I cannot wait until we're in person together.
I know.
Yeah, it's going to be so
Next
much
week.
fun. Yes.
Very excited.
I know you're doing several gigs as well, so we can find out about that as well. But I thank you for being on the Kings of Joy podcast. Can't wait for your choreo toolkit secrets, and we'll learn all about that next Saturday, the 23rd of September. So thank you so much.
Amazing. See you on the other side.
Yeah.
Our bodies so close to mine. That's where we come undone.